So yesterday, on both Blue Sky and Twitter, there was a lot of controversy about Miyamoto, and it was all because this one big Nintendo account was spreading this fake quote about him. I am not gonna say who was spreading this, because they since deleted their post about this, and I don't want to cause any harassment or brigading, because that is not tolerated regardless of the scenario. But basically, they were claiming that games eventually stop running when newer games come out, but film remains forever. And basically, this can be implied that Miyamoto was apparently saying that gaming shouldn't be taken as seriously as film. That's at least what a lot of people were kind of thinking he said, and I almost kind of bought into that a little bit before I looked into this quote more. Honestly, I was so close to kind of full-on ranting about this quote, because it is kind of baffling if you see it for the first time, and like you see it without like kind of looking into it or thinking about it. Oh, Miyamoto, why would he ever say something like that? Because it really goes against so many of the things that he said in the past, because Miyamoto has a lot of respect for the gaming industry. He's said that in the past in so many other interviews, so it would kind of be crazy for him to make a claim like this. So I can kind of see why people were outraged about that post. But this is actually a quote that was taken out of context, as it was pulled from an article with an interview with Miyamoto about the Nintendo Museum from a year ago. They took a quote from Miyamoto from a year ago and made it into a thing. It's just kind of crazy, and it was kind of mistranslated and misinterpreted as well. Because originally what he was saying is that games become obsolete when new versions come out, but that's incredibly sad. And also said that the video production was partially a way to kind of expand upon what they were doing already. It's not really him propping up movies over games. And he never framed games becoming obsolete as anything other than that. He was really saying that it was the unfortunate fact of reality. So I think this is a completely different statement from what the big Nintendo account was claiming he was saying. And I think this reveals a big problem, not just with the Nintendo community, but the internet in general. Misinformation spreads around so incredibly easily. You could really take anything out of context and claim that's something that someone said. It's just really unfortunate, honestly. But this, of course, was not the only time that misinformation spread around about a well-respected game developer, because a very similar thing happened with Masahiro Sakurai just a couple months ago. Because there was a lot of controversy surrounding him after some big Nintendo accounts claimed that he believed generative AI was an option to improve work efficiency, but when you look at the original article translated properly, he was really saying that game development was becoming unsustainable, and unfortunately, due to how resource intensive, like large-scale game development was becoming, some game developers were resorting to using AI. That's at least how I interpreted it. But the mistranslated quote taken out of context was spread so far that multiple YouTubers were making videos claiming that Sakurai was looking to AI for game development on the Switch 2, which is kind of crazy, but it's exactly what I expected at the same time from all of that. But the thing is about misinformation, I can't really convince people to stop spreading misinformation about these game developers, because it's really kind of a fact of reality. It's unfortunate, but we kind of have to be aware that misinformation is always going to be spreading around on the internet. And another thing, I'm not going to pull up people online and claim that people shouldn't be outraged by misinformation and stop falling for it, because a lot of the people who are falling for it aren't watching this video. But my message to those who are watching this video is that you should really be aware of what these big Nintendo accounts are posting. Don't just take things at face value, and kind of look more into the context of some of these quotes and things that developers are saying that are being spread around. And I also think it's important to not engage with these accounts directly, because a lot of the time, some of these accounts are intentionally spreading misinformation to get a lot of attention and views from it. So I think it's best if you do want to inform people that it is misinformation, you make a separate post about it rather than interacting with that account directly. But that's kind of my advice on how to approach misinformation on the internet. Unfortunately, it's becoming very prevalent in not just the Nintendo community, but also the internet in general. And I feel like almost all of us have probably been baited by misinformation at some point. I was even saying earlier in the video, I almost got baited by the Miyamoto quote. So I think it's really good to be aware that misinformation is very widespread, even among some of these big Nintendo accounts on both Twitter and Blue Sky. But anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on this situation. It's kind of crazy, and I feel like this kind of happens every couple weeks, honestly. It's always some developer has some mistranslated quote or quote taken out of context, so it's really kind of unavoidable. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!